What if I told you the key to change is not perfection, but simply catching yourself in the act? That's right. You don't have to be perfect to make change, but one of the things that you do need to do is notice the thing that you need to change. It sounds so simple, and yet we beat ourselves up for it so often. Most of your life is run based on habit. That's why we try to create routines about things. If we make something a habit, we'll always do it. And we won't even have to think about it. But you have to form the habit before it becomes routine, before you're just doing it without having to think about it. So I have been brushing my teeth before I go to bed for my whole entire life. I cannot go to bed without brushing my teeth. If I lay down in bed and realized that I forgot to brush my teeth, I will get back out of bed and go do it. No matter how tired I am, no matter how much I don't want to do it, I will go do it because it is just something that I have to do before I go to bed. It has become a habit for me. When you are trying to build new habits in your life, when you have something that you want to change in your life, you have to first notice it. Yes, it seems silly and simple, and it kind of is, but I guarantee you that there have been times in your life where you have wanted to change something and you have fallen back into your old habits without realizing it. And that's the key, right? Is the without realizing it. And that's what we're talking about is noticing when you fall back into those old habits and when you want to change something. And here's the thing. If you have something that you want to change and you haven't noticed it, then you don't actually want to change it because you have to notice it before you want to change it. Like there's noticing that has to happen as your very first step. So if there's something in your life that you want to change, you've already noticed something about it. You've noticed that you want to change. Now you have to notice the actions that you're taking that need to be different. If you want to lose some weight and you're mindlessly eating chips and cookies every day, then you're not noticing enough to actually change the weight. If one day you're mid chip and you go, oh, I'm eating chips and I really want to lose some weight, this is probably not the best thing for me to eat, then what a lot of people will do is they will beat themselves up for eating the chips. Be like, oh no, I'm doing it again. I'm eating chips and I didn't want to do that because I'm trying to lose weight. What you should do instead is celebrate the fact that you noticed. Because if you start noticing when you are not doing the things that you said you wanted to do, then you have the opportunity to start doing them. If you don't notice, you won't do them. A big one for this, for me, has been like things that are morning things, like waking up in the morning. In fact, I'm working on something right now, which is to just get up the first time my alarm goes off and not snooze the alarm. And I've been saying this for a while. I want to get up when my alarm goes off. But when I am in bed and my alarm goes off and I am super cozy, I completely forget that I want to get up when my first alarm goes off. I completely forget it. Like it is not in my brain, and therefore I do not do it. And that is why you have to notice before you really start to make change. Because if you are not noticing, you are not catching the places where you actually change. If you notice it, then you will make a different choice, or you at least have the opportunity to make a different choice. But when you don't even notice it, you don't even get the opportunity to make a different choice. I wanted to get up early this morning because there are things that I do in the morning that are really important to me. Like I have a morning routine that is set, but I also had something happening early this morning that I wanted to do that was different, which meant that I needed to get up a little bit earlier than normal because I was like, well, I'm not going to do that until I have done the other pieces. Like, I have to make sure that this is the very first thing that I do in the morning. I had to give myself time for that first task because it is important to me that it be the first task, which meant I set my alarm a little bit earlier today. But also, when I laid in bed last night, I went, it's important to me to get up early, to get up to my first alarm. There was an early call that I wanted to make, and I was like, I also want to make this other call. And so it's really important to me that I get up early enough that I can do my normal routine before that call. And I said that to myself multiple times before I went to bed. I programmed myself before bed to get up more easily in the morning, and I did it. This morning I woke up. I still snoozed it once. I didn't notice quite as quickly as I wanted to, but I woke up and I pressed snooze and I went, there was something really important I wanted to do this morning, and I wanted to get my normal routine in first. And the only way to get my normal routine in first and do the thing is to get up earlier. And I went, this is really important to me. So I laid in bed and talked myself through it. But the thing is that I noticed. And that is always something to celebrate when you notice the change that you want to make and you're able to make the change. Sometimes the noticing comes because you're not making the change, because you didn't do the thing. Sometimes the noticing comes when you have done something different than what you said you wanted to do. And that noticing comes with beating yourself up over it. That is unhelpful. If you beat yourself up over it, how does that help you? Tell me. How does that help you? It doesn't help you at all. When you notice something and you're in the middle of it, of doing the thing you said you didn't want to do, be grateful that you noticed. Because now that you've noticed, you can make the change. Now that you've noticed, you can choose something different. Big place this came into play for me was around the words I was speaking, especially when I wanted to change the way that I was talking, and especially when I had a specific thing that I wanted to change about how I was talking, and noticing myself going back into these habitual thought loops. That was a big place where I was like, oh, I noticed it. And instead of saying, oh, there you go again, you're going back to those same old thought patterns that you always do. Look at you. Can't change. You're not making that change that you wanted to. No. Instead, I went, oh, I caught it. Now I can stop. Right? I caught it, which means that I get the opportunity to just stop it in its tracks. And then the more that I did that, the easier it became to catch. And eventually I stopped having those same thought loops. Eventually was able to change my thoughts around something, but it had to start with noticing. This is how you change all your habits. You have to notice before you can make the change. If you don't notice, there's nothing you can do about it because you didn't notice it. So think about something that you want to change. So think about something that you want to change. Where are the places that you would notice? Start to look for the ways that you could notice that you're doing the different thing than you say you want to do. What are the ways that you could see that? And now work on noticing. Try to notice. When you notice it, congratulate yourself. Don't beat yourself up for doing the thing you said you weren't going to do. Instead, congratulate yourself for noticing it and then choose different. And you will start to make new habits in your life. You will start to develop these new patterns. It is a beautiful thing. Don't beat yourself up. Notice it and make the change from there. This was day 16 of my 30 days of YouTube challenge. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Leslie Christine. I am an energy healing and metapsychology coach, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.